WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I have something from Lindores Lowland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey, the Casks of Lindores Sherry Butts, 49.4% ABV. And I like Lindores. Not everything, but I do like them. Now, if you look at the color here, this is awesome. Yeah, I mean, you can almost see me through it, but yet it's still very, very dark. No age statement, 3 years minimum of age. We have here the Whiskybase number 221395. What am I going to compare it to? Well, I'm going to compare it to the normal Lindores. Now, I must admit, I did have a video about Lindores, the Casks of Lindores bourbon. I now have a video about the sherry, but for some reason I missed. I absolutely was not aware that there was an STR. Now, the sherry's is the third and the last installment in this set, and so I need to go out and buy an STR bottle here of that sometime soon. Price, according to the press release, this should have been $67.90. I actually received it for $63.90, and it's at the moment being sold by at least one shop in Germany for $59.90. By the way, the same shop is selling this bottle here. This is their standard 1494 bottle. This is a mix of their bourbon, sherry, and STR wine cask barriques. For $29.90. I originally bought this bottle for $43.90, then it went down to $39, and then it went down to $36, and now it's down to $29.90, which means, of course, that the product has not flown off the shelves like some people may have expected. I like Lindores. So, if you look at the color here, you will notice that there's a big difference. Now, this is not bad for non-chilled filtered and no color added, 46%. They went for 49.4 here with the sherry butts. Are they European oak? Are they American oak? No one would tell me. I'm sure I could have contacted the German importer, asked, but I decided about 30 minutes ago to make this video, and I was too lazy to. Now, it says on the website from Lindores Abbey Distillery.com, the third Casks of Lindores bottling completes the set and was matured exclusively in Oloroso Sherry Butts from the area around the city of Jerez de la Frontera in Spain. Packaged in this distinctive Lindores bottle. Oh, distinctive. And lively with color-specific base labels. This was purple, the STR was purple, and the bourbon was not. Okay, I don't know about that. You put the three beside each other, they don't really look like a set, in my opinion. These bottlings are bottled at Distillery without chill filtration and at our Lindores bottling strength of 49.4. I don't think there's many other bottles from Lindores at 49.4, but hey, you can say whatever you want to. All right. Oh, the members edition was 48.4 as well. Yeah, gotcha. All right, what else do we have for 49.4? The original members edition, double oaked. The members edition was there, and the inaugural members release and the limited edition. Everything else has been 46 or higher because it's been single cask at cask strength. All right, very, very, very good. Now, if we go over here to our nice little book, the 23 version of Malt Whiskey Yearbook, we have Lindores Abbey, and then we actually have here, founded 2017, and the famous first written record of whiskey was a letter by Friar John Carr, dated 1494. All right, where by order of King James IV, he was instructed to make aqua vitae, 8 bowls of malt, B-O-L-L-S, bowls. Now, I researched this very briefly. What would be 8 bowls? Apparently, it's going to be about 400 bottles. So for a king, that's enough. For me, it's 2 casks. All right, so today I think in casks, standard American bourbon casks, but back then you did not. That aquavite was probably transported in a cask, but not made to store in a cask. All right, so enough of that. Now on the nose, this is fruity. And the thing is, I know what Oloroso Sherry should taste like. I've had bottles of Oloroso Sherry. This is not Oloroso Sherry taste profile. It is fruit bomb. It is grape juice fruit bomb. But it is not the typical Oloroso that I love and know and have tasted, I'm going to say hundreds of times in my life. I like, but it's different. So when you go here, you go, okay, let's see what their creation is going to be like. Fruitiness, as in dried plums, prunes, dried apricots, and a little bit of fig going on in here. Creamy, almost like a milk chocolate moment. A tiny, tiny little bit of vanilla going on here. But more of the dried fruits. Prunes, figs, plums. All right, a little bit of even raisins. Now over here, the standard, it's much more of a, I have a lemon meringue pie. I think I've mentioned every single time I've actually knows this, I always get that lemon meringue pie, which we often don't have in Germany. I think the Lindores here, that 1494, is it called the, is there a name for this? It's just the first release they had, at least in Germany, is a wonderful balance. Not too much bourbon, not too much STR with European casks, and definitely not too much sherry. And if you look at the two colors here, you will notice a big difference. All right, so let's try these. 49.4 versus 46%. Cheers. What almost excites me is the fact that I can try this, and I think in the future, if it continues in this manner, it's going to be, bam, that's Lindores. That has such a unique taste. There's a little bit of a bitter almond moment going on in there. There's a little bit of a mineral type of moment going on there. But then the whole sweetness of the sherry takes over. But the distillate, the spirit, that flavor of the distillery is evident. And I think that's so great. I've had so many whiskeys in my life where there's like, this could have been from anywhere. This could be sherry with a little bit of vodka added. This is Lindores distillate where the sherry actually highlights the spirit, which I like. I like that a lot, even towards the end. So if I were to actually do my nice little hand movement, which I haven't done for a while, actually goes up. So the spirit is there, the sherry, the dry fruit, the dried fruit kicks in, and then towards the end, that raisiny, plum, prune, fig moment actually takes over. But the entire time, the 49.4% is perfectly, in my opinion, chosen here. The alcohol is there, it does not distract, it supports. This is a very nice whiskey. I thoroughly enjoy this. Now, one of my rules, if I'm going to give a whiskey a B, this is a whiskey that I would, after I turn off the camera, I would actually pour a little glass, take it over, sit on the couch with my wife, and continue drinking. This is a B-. I did not expect a B-. This is a B-. This is something fairly long aftertaste, a fairly long finish. Well done, Lindores. Value for money. Now, as I said, 67 would be the recommended retail price over here. That's a little steep. 59, which it's selling for at the moment, a few stores, I would give this a solid C. Would I prefer to have something around the 49? Yes. So this is not a whiskey that I would recommend going out and buying if you have not tried it at least once. All right? So some people will taste this and go, oh, it's young. Yes, it is. I have no problem whatsoever with a somewhat young whiskey as long as everything else works out and it's great. There is depth, there is complexity, there is longevity to that whiskey flavor finish moment. This is very, very nice whiskey. Is it 5, 6, 18, 20 years old? No, it can't be. The distillery just started 2017. All right, so the oldest whiskey in here is 4, 5 years max. And yet, I still gave it a B-. This was something I would reach towards. This is something I would actually in the evening go, oh, I like this. Let's try this again. I thoroughly enjoy this. All right, so now if I go over here to my standard Lindores and just compare, the first thing I notice, now the nose is a little bit different, but the palate, is in comparison to this, which I did not miss, but in comparison to creaminess, I thoroughly love that composition that they made. The 46% non-chilled filtered, a lot more bourbon, a portion of STR wineberry casks, and a portion of the sherry. Nothing overtakes that profile. Everything has a certain amount of synergy, and it actually lifts this whiskey up. Now, this is a whiskey at 39 euros, no, 29.90, so it's 30 euros. Buy this blind. This is something I can highly, highly recommend. At 40 euros, try it and then buy it. All right? So I thoroughly enjoy this. I really enjoy this. This has a little bit more of a wood moment going on there, that STR cask. This does not. This has a lot more of that grape, almost like a grape must. Yeah, if you want to make wine and before you ferment it, you stamp on all those grapes and that little bit of where it's starting to almost ferment a tiny little bit, that's what I'm getting over here. This is just beautifully balanced whiskey. Both of these are available now in very many different markets, and there will be even more markets in the future that they go to. You can go to the lowlands, to the Lindores Abbey. I like that they actually mentioned here. It says, by purchasing this bottle, you have contributed to the preservation of Lindores Abbey's, the spiritual home of Scotch whiskey. Thank you very much. And the founder here, actually, his signature is on the bottle. Over here, we have, they've changed the back of the label, which I think is funny. So, I don't know if you can see this or not, but on this bottle, you have all the European importers. So now you need to have one address because Scotland's no longer in the European Union. You need to have one European Union address. Apparently, they decided to put all of them on there. So what do I have? I have the Danish importer. I have the Polish importer. I have the German importer. I have the Dutch importer. I have the Italian importer, the French importer, as well as the Belgium and Luxembourg importer. So all their names are on here. By the way they did this, they just put a sticker on here for every single bottle sold in Germany of the importer from Germany. It's a hassle. All right, you need to have maybe a student, you're paying him 10 euros an hour to put these stickers on there. He can do maybe one. He needs to open the box, pull out the bottle, put on the sticker, put the bottle back in, do that 5 more times, tape the box back together before you can sell them. So you can do maybe, let's say, 1 box in a minute. And if you have 4,000 bottles, or 6,000, 1,000 minutes of doing that and so on, it's just a pain in the butt. So this solution is not pretty, but it's effective. And people over here in Germany sometimes are effective and not really pretty in what they do. So, yes, B-, C for value for money. Question of the day. This is part of a deconstruction set. We had the bourbon, the STR, and the sherry. I love STR cask. I love this deconstruction casks. Not sure about STR. I love deconstruction cask sets. I think behind me in the very beginning of my YouTube career here for those 2 years, I had a Jameson deconstruction cask set there. It was fabulous. I just love to be able to taste that. I love to be able to make my own little whiskeys here and see if my would be better than theirs. In my opinion, often yes. But I get to actually figure out a little bit of that blending moment. In my YouTube channel in German, 2023 is going to be a focus on blended malt Scotch, where we take the single malts from different distilleries and blend it together and actually make our own whiskeys on one occasion, and tasting other blended malt Scotch whiskey out there. Because I think at the moment, blended malt Scotch whiskey does offer one of the better price propositions out there that is available. All right, so both of these bottles from Lindores I really like. Maybe one day I'll make it to Lindores and visit the distillery, visit the monastery, the birthplace of Scottish whiskey, at least their last or their oldest written reference to aquavitae there. But we won't get in the battle who was first, Ireland or Scotland. Google it, you'll find out. All right, thank you very much for watching. Whiskey Jason here. What's your favorite deconstruction set? Bye-bye.